Broadcasting live from the Victory Casino Cruises studio, this is Orlando's sports leader, 740 The Game, an iHeart radio station.
Slow traffic eastbound I-4 between Michigan Street and State Road 434. An accident in this area causing these delays. Also westbound I-4 is slow from Lake Mary Boulevard to State Road 434, and then from Colonial Drive to about the 408. You want to look out for delays also northbound along the 417 from Colonial Drive to about Red Bug Lake Road. If you see traffic problems, call the Safe Touch Security Tip Line, 866-676-8477. From the Traffic Center, I'm Catherine Davis.
Are you looking for your dream home? Or are you looking to help you with all your needs? Specializing in West Orange County, Lake County, and Ocoee, his goal is to take care of you from the beginning to the end and is not satisfied until the job is complete. Stop by 401 West Colonial Drive, Suite 7, or give him a call, 321-945-6832. Jim Fouquet with Century 21 Rue Realty.
Looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Need a jumpstart in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? SOFO is here for you. SOFO means something for everyone, and they help expand your business through all platforms of media. Need to grow on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram? Their experienced team expands your brand and puts your business in places you would have never been before. Call SOFO at 407-607-9862 or follow SOFOELLC on Instagram and Twitter.
This is the beat of sports.
If you're angry, if you're upset because you're a fan, you're emotionally invested, I get it. You want to have your team have a good season because it's fun. But there's the small part of that fan base, and if you're not a part of it, then don't be offended, that just wants everybody fired now. And then what? I don't care. What's your plan that makes it better? Well, you just hire someone.
Someone really good.
You just get someone.
But they got to be really good.
The beat of sports with Mark Daniels.
9 a.m. weekdays on 740 The Game.
Look alive, weeds. It's a matter of life and death.
These weeds have a mission: to hide every bottle of Bayer Advanced Durazone Weed and Grass Killer in this store.
Hide one in the wheelbarrow.
They know Durazone kills weeds for up to 6 months, 2 months longer than Roundup Extended Control.
Put some behind the garden gnome.
And Durazone Ready to Use provides more coverage. It goes 50% further than Roundup Extended Control Ready to Use for a better value. No wonder weeds are terrified of Durazone.
Hide them all!
Bayer Advanced Durazone. Get more from the blue bottle. Always read and follow label directions.
Welcome to Late Night Parents. I'm your host, Ted Hicks. We have a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk with game changers in the sports, technology, education fields. We even do product reviews and giveaways. Why, you ask? Because we're all parents. So if you're ready for an up-close and personal look, then you can check out our podcast. New episodes are available every Thursday. Catch us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. That's Late Night Parents. The site is latenightparents.com.
Charge on. UCF football is back for another year.
UCF has one-handed grab.
What a rush.
Oh, my goodness.
Listen to all of the action each week from Orlando and around the country as the Knights do battle in the American.
To the 15, 14 end zone. Celebration at White House Network Stadium.
The game's never over.
Right here on your home for Knights football.
We are 740 The Game.
Hey, Cricket, Metro PCS, or T-Mobile customers. For a limited time, slash your payment in half when you switch to Boost Mobile. With Cricket, Metro, or T-Mobile, you'll pay $40 a month for a plan. But with Boost, you'll pay half that on a monthly service plan. That's just $20 a month for 12 months, plus you get 2.5 gigs of high-speed data to go with it. Hurry into your local Boost Mobile store today for details, and check out the lineup of the latest Samsung Galaxy phones. Offer valid until 9/30/15. Requires valid in-store port from select Cricket, Metro PCS, or T-Mobile wireless plan to eligible Boost monthly plan at participating indirect dealers. Excludes BoostMobile.com and national retailers. Not all competitor plans will have equivalent Boost plan, and certain competitor plan services may not be included. After 12 months, promotional plan expires, and plan automatically changes to higher price equivalent plan. Not combinable with certain other promotions. State and local sales taxes or fees may apply when adding funds. Coverage and offers not available everywhere. Boost reserves a right to modify, extend, or cancel offer at any time. Prohibited use rules and other restrictions apply. See participating dealer for complete details. Cricket is a registered trademark of Cricket Communications Incorporated. Metro PCS is a registered trademark of T-Mobile USA Incorporated, DBA Metro PCS. T-Mobile is a trademark of Deutsche Telekom AG.
Stay connected with Orlando Sports Leader on Facebook. Like us now at 740 The Game on Facebook.com.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed in this program are not those of iHeartMedia, its management, or advertisers.
Here we go, yo. One time for your mind. You know we ball all day. Yeah. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set. Ball all day. Yeah. Just know we talk ball all day. Welcome to the full court press. Full court press. We got Danny Thompson on the mic, so just chill with the set.
Good evening, everybody. It is 9:06 p.m. on September 22nd, 2015. This is Full Court Press Radio, sponsored by SOFOELLC, and I'm your host, Danny Thompson, coming to you tonight live, talking for the next 2 hours about everything, anything and everything involving professional basketball, especially the NBA, with some of the best writers, beat writers, bloggers, and NBA personalities you're going to find anywhere across the country, and tonight's no exception. In hour number one, we have Paul Garcia from Project Spurs coming on about the next couple of minutes, as well as my good friend Ari Wagner, who is the editor and founder of Full Court Free Press, talking Detroit Pistons as well, too. Hour number two starts our brand new Central Division preview with Dan Feldman of Pro Basketball Talking NBC Sports, talking everything Central Division. So if you want to get in with us tonight, if you're in the Orlando area code 407-916-8255, and toll free 800-729-8255. But every week we can't do this without the dynamic, actually with the big three. But tonight we're down one. Our editor-in-chief, Paul Myers, is actually out tonight, tending some, just has a night off. So it's myself and the editor and also the social media manager of Full Court Press Media, as well as an NBA draft expert, Mark Johnson. Mark, how you doing, my friend?
I'm great. A lot to get into. Season around the corner. Let's go.
35 more days until the start of the NBA season, so we're basically 5 Tuesdays away from tipping off this thing. And, Mark, before we get any further, let's give a big shout out to our good friends at SOFOELLC, the title sponsor of the show. They're one of the best social media companies up and coming across the Central Florida area and across nationwide. So before we get into things, we always have to give a shout out to them, as well as Jim Folquette Realty and our good friends at Late Night Parents, great parenting website. So 407-916-8255 is the number here in Orlando, as well as 800-729-8255. So, Mark, there's so many different things going on. Like I said, training camp for a lot of teams starts this week. We know we're going to talk about Anthony Bennett later on the show, as well as his big releasing and where he's going to end up. But Mark, being in Philadelphia, what is the buzz looking like in Philadelphia on the streets when it comes to basketball? What's the big buzz?
I'll tell you, a lot of people are really interested, to see Jahlil Okafor take the court and him being paired with Nerlens Noel. It's a real bright spot, when you're talking Sixers basketball. A lot of people really think they can be like a new Twin Towers type of thing. It's a real throwback type of thing. A lot of teams play stretch fours, and some even have stretch fours and fives, playing them together. But this is old school. This has an old school feel. You pound the ball inside. You play tremendous defense, interior defense, shot blocking, and things like that. And I think they're excited for that. And they're also, excited about Kendall Marshall, returning from injury and being able to kind of, be the, the kind of like direct the orchestra, if you should say, with those big men. So I think, a lot of people are looking forward to that, and we'll just see how it goes.
You just spoke about Twin Towers, and our first guest of the evening is, he writes for a team that now has a Twin Tower unit. He is one of the writers for Project Spurs. Our good friend of the show, Paul Garcia, on for the next few minutes talking about the Spurs. Paul, how you doing, my friend?
Doing really well, guys. Doing really well tonight.
Good. You cover the team that probably did more moves in the offseason than anybody else, and also got the biggest prize in the offseason, LaMarcus Aldridge. People know about Aldridge for his days in Portland, but now he's in San Antonio. What does he bring to the Spurs, and what kind of impact is he going to make?
This is going to be huge. I mean, you're right. I mean, the Spurs had all the buzz this past summer just because this isn't normal down here in San Antonio, just because usually they only go out and get like a role player just to have a few cap space to build a roster around. And now they got a guy like Aldridge, a guy who, he was Portland's leading scorer last year. He's a guy you can run your offense through. He's going to still be surrounded by more top-level defenders with Tim Duncan, with Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green on the perimeter around him. And then, this is a piece that, he's a foundational piece where, if Kawhi's struggling, if Tony kind of takes that burden off of their scoring-wise, because, LaMarcus is the guy who scores 23 a night, and he just, commands that, whether it's in the low post, whether it's shooting from the outside. He picked up his three-point percentage last year in Portland. He started taking those threes as well. And then, to see him in an offense where, almost all five guys can do something different with the ball. He was really special with Portland last year with that group that they had as well. But now he's got even more talent, in San Antonio, both on the bench and also, of course, in that starting lineup. So it's down here in San Antonio, we're really intrigued to see how this works out. The analytics have, said that, he might command the ball too much. It's not very Spursy where he kind of holds in the post. But I think just seeing that Portland system was very similar to how San Antonio orchestrates their offense, I think that's going to be really, really a really good mesh between him and the players and him and the coaching staff.
Yeah, that's the question I had. With Coach Pop and you're pairing Aldridge and Duncan together, both of them, do like to operate inside. Both of them, can go outside and hit shots. Just how do you think, that Pop will be able to orchestrate that and get those guys to mesh together, particularly on the offensive end?
That's an interesting question because, as we go further into the post, actually, LaMarcus and Timmy both like to operate in the left block. That's kind of LaMarcus's main area. If you look at his shot chart from last year, that's kind of where he took most of his shots in the post. But I think Tim's the kind of guy who's very unselfish, where he's not going to care if he doesn't get his amount of shots tonight. And I think just having that versatility between the both of them, where either of them can post you on either block. LaMarcus will have to work a little bit more in the right block this coming year, but Tim's very comfortable on that side. And then just orchestrate. They're not a team that, even though they're going to be a little bit more post heavy, they're not a team that just goes down like the old Spurs and just dishes it off to David Robinson and Tim Duncan, how they used to work it back in the early 2000s. This is a team where Tony actually sets up the offense, or Kawhi or Danny Green, where they can just kick it into motion. If they have like a layup or an open guy cutting or a three-pointer, they can still take that. And Timmy and LaMarcus, their high-low passing is going to be incredible this year with the type of basketball IQ that they both have. I think it's just going to make it they're offensively, it's going to make the shot selection really easy for both of them. It's just going to be more efficient shots across the board for those five starters.
Well, you talk about the efficiency of the Spurs last year. Tony Parker was a guy who's been, the catalyst and the leader of the Spurs last couple of years, with Duncan in the locker room. But the floor general has been Tony Parker. His numbers weren't exactly Tony Parker-esque last year, 14 points and less than 5 assists a game last year. What is can Tony Parker get back to the Tony Parker we saw a couple years ago that was just dominating, the Heat in the playoffs?
This is actually the most interesting question here. This is if there's one Achilles heel right now that you're looking at with San Antonio, this is actually it. It's Tony Parker. I was doing a piece recently, and in the last 3 years, he's only been able to play a maximum of 68 games. He's had these lower leg injuries, whether it's cramps, whether it's the hamstring. For some reason, he's constantly getting these little nicks and knacks throughout the season, and then of course, it takes its toll in the playoffs, where he's not able to be that guy that they're used to having. And he had a moment last March where he kind of finally looked healthy for about 15 games. He was scoring almost 18 a game. Him and Kawhi were kind of just wrecking it on the perimeter. But then, of course, he got injured in the playoffs. He only scored 10 points against the Clippers. Chris Paul ran all over him. On defense, he's a liability. They always have to put Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green, a lot of the best point guards in the league. And then even at Eurobasket, I covered the team for Eurobasket, and he couldn't even break down some point guards that are uneven in the NBA. In the past, Tony Parker, when he gets like a big man on a switch and on a mismatch, he can usually take him off the dribble and score. But this time, he was having to settle for those outside jumpers. He had a very, very rough Eurobasket. He wasn't even France's best player. It was actually Nando De Colo, a former Spur. So, but he's shown those sparks, even in Eurobasket, he would go through like a third quarter where he had like 10 points in the quarter or 12 points. So, those flashes are there of the old Tony, but I'm not sure you're going to get a full season of Tony anymore these days. He's already 33. He's been playing with his national team almost every summer. The good thing about having Aldridge is that it does take that burden off Tony. Tony just really has to initiate the offense, but he doesn't have to be the guy who has to go out there and give them 18 a night. You have LaMarcus, and then you have Kawhi now second, who can kind of take over the bulk load of that offense. Tony kind of just has to be there to manage and, just make sure everybody's in their place. And, every now and then he will have to give them, a 20-point game here and there.
Here's another question I have. How much does Manu have